What is up, YouTube? The title is not clickbait. These are two things you need to keep in mind before opening up a bookstore. The first thing is a core list, 1 and 2, and what sections you need to have in your store. To start off, let's deal with some sections. Now here is a list of what I think are of my favorite sections in my store. So the first one is fiction. It could be your science fiction, your romance, all the James Pattersons, the Clive Custlers, all the new stuff. Number 2 is classics, sport, cookery, gardening, travel writing, health, psychology, business, history, and art and photography. And I've got another list here, but just to keep things simple, each section needs to have a section code and each book needs to have a product code. Just keep that in mind, and we'll discuss that in a future video because it's so important. Customers come in and they say, okay, I want this title, and your staff will know, okay, it's this section and this product code tells you what size and shape the book is. So that's my 1 to 11. The next set of 11 books, children's. Now you can really have to go to your heart's content. You can have children's section of picture books, 6 and over, 9 and over, teens or young adults, non-fiction. The world is your oyster. Children books are going to be one of your top sellers, so give a good part of your store to children's books specifically. And then just take it from there, see the sales every month and whether you want to increase or decrease. Try not to decrease the children's sales or children's books, but yeah, that's for children's. And the second thing, autobiography and biography. In my experience, the autobiographies always outsell the biographies. You'll find books like the unofficial biography of Arnold Schwarzenegger. You don't want that type of thing. You want the autobiography of that person. I find the biographies just go by the wayside. The third one is religion, so Christian. 4 is esoteric, which is the mind, body, spirit. And just FYI, if you do have a customer basis for that type of section, Hay House Publishing are amazing with that. And a note, don't put the religion and mind, body, spirit together. I know it's like a religion, esoteric sort of vibe, but two different sort of demographics, different customers. Here in South Africa, Afrikaans, board games. Number 7 is diaries, calendars, and postcards. Do not get diaries if you can on a firm basis. Diaries only sell for what? September, October, November, December, January, and February, and the rest of the year they're just going to sit on a shelf. And if you go into a bookstore now, you'll see some diaries still for 2023, and you'll see the markdown is 50-60%. That's the stock that the bookstore can't get rid of, and it's just sitting there. So they could have replaced that with something else. So try and get diaries, try and load up on diaries, but only if it's SOR or at least a 50-50. You don't want to be sitting with stock throughout the year. I mean, diaries sell great. Calendars, postcards, personally, I just wouldn't stock them. I did stock them in the past. Man, they just sat, and every time I went to the back office, I used to walk past them and no one's bought them. And they're expensive. There's not much markup. And once they're damaged, you can't even return them. So it's just a nightmare for stock. And it goes into the 18 months and older, and you can write it off or discount it, and it hurts you end of the day. Local non-fiction, number 8, local fiction. And then when you're ordering bestsellers, have in mind it's a new James Patterson, I want to burst, or it's a new Booker Prize winner, I want to really bump up sales. Where can I put a display? So instead of ordering your normal 50 copies, think of it as 150. So you have 100 books to build your display. If you have a window space or a counter space, or when people walk into the store, they can see, oh, the bookstore want me to look at this book. Why? And then you'll see over signage, book a winner, or whatever it might be. And then number 11 will be natural science and general science. And just really use Google to find out what other sections there are, and then just find your niche with your market. Each bookstore in each city or each suburb is different to the next suburb, So try and play with it. But I think these are the best of the best, in my opinion. The second thing is very, very important. Opening a bookstore, think, I'll just get the bestsellers and then stock. No, that's a mistake you don't want to make. A core list 1 and a core list 2 is the skeleton of your bookstore. It's books you will always keep in stock. Yes, they're going to go into a little bit older, over 6 months, but they're going to be cheap and they're going to be classics. Here is a list of some of the books that I have on my call list. I'll just put them in an Excel sheet just to help you. So if you look at my little page, it's got the ISBN number, the title, author, the price in rands, the publisher or the distributor, the section code, and the product code. And the product code is 1 for paperback fictions. Section code is the fiction section. So you'll just notice at a glance, Poisonwood Bible I always keep in stock, Two Brothers, Shadow of the Wind, Saffron, Cloud Atlas, The Goldfinch, and I hardly tweak this list. Every year I look back at the previous sales, what should I add, what should I take away, and there we go. And then scrolling down, you'll see fiction classics, Old Man and the Sea by Hemingway, Wuthering Heights, Bronte, Robinson Crusoe, and you'll see they're 70 rand, so the cost would be about 20, 25 rand, 30 rand to hold for the stock. And these are books that are always going to be sort of selling. And also speak to your school, because they'll do a lot of classics on their literature for their book, for the English lessons, the set work book. That's what I'm looking for. So just say, hey, what set work book are you doing? And they'll say Catcher in the Rye. And like, oh, let me make sure I always have like 5 copies ready for that. So, and then let's have a look. So you'll see classics, gardening, travel writing, natural science, and all those type of things that is going to sell throughout the year. You kind of want to have that in stock. So that's the call list. And then what I do have here is whatever code or system you're going to use for your everyday sales in the bookstore. My one that I use is called WordStock, and I've got a picture here at a glance of what it looks like. So SKU would be the ISBN number or the EAN. That number will normally start in 978. The title of the book, author, price 1, price 2, and whatever you scan the book in on the barcode, it always comes up with price 1. The section code, if it's a fiction book, it'll be 100. Product code 01, which means it's a small paperback. The vendor or the vendor number is you can just fill out any number that you want, but it's the publisher's details. And this publication was on the 1st of October in 2001. Sorry, the 10th of October when the book came out. And I've circled the FRQ, which means I put my call list. So if that FRQ has a 1 there, I do a report at the end of every week, and I tell my computer, give me a report of all the books that have FRQ 1 and that's out of stock or out of hand according to this, and it just gives me a report, and then I go through and I just do the reorders and send it to the publishers. So that's a good sort of system. Have a good idea of what your sections are going to be, and sort of while you're doing all the finance, figuring out the bookshelves and the layout of your store, think about as well what books you want to have on your call list 1, which would be your adult books, and the call list 3 would be your children's books, the Dr. Seuss's and all David Williams and Roald Dahl's, all that, and the list goes on and on. So yeah, all the best with your bookstore, and I'll see you next time for another great video. Thanks for tuning in. Ciao for now. Bye.